Hi everyone, and especially to Year 4 at Newsham Junior School, because they've been thinking about what it is a vicar does and how I, as a vicar, might spend my day. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that, and I'm going to tell you by using the questions that they've asked, because they've asked some fantastic questions. So the first question I'm going to answer is, why did you become a vicar? And Charlie asked me this one. Well, Charlie, I get asked this question a lot. And the answer is, I felt that that was what God was asking me to do. Lots of people had suggested I should do it, and I'd always said no. And then one day I thought, well, there's so many people asking me, maybe I'll ask God. So I sat down and I prayed and I asked God if he thought it was a good idea. And I just felt very peaceful and happy. And so I thought, well, I think he's saying yes. And here I am, a vicar. So he must have been saying yes. So that's why I became a vicar, because I thought God was telling me that I should. And then Jasmine asks, how long did it take to become a priest or a vicar? Well, I left home and went to college. I had to move out of my house and go to college full time, and I was there for 2 years. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that too. And why do I enjoy being a vicar comes from Chloe and Kasara. Yeah, well, I like to be a vicar because I meet lots of different people and I get to help people all the time, which is brilliant. But the best bit is that I get to tell people all about Jesus, because I love talking about Jesus and about how much he loves us and what he can do for us. So that's the best bit for me. And then I was asked, why do I wear a collar, a stole, and a cassock? Well, it's a bit like having your uniform for school. You have a uniform on for school so that you can tell which school you belong to and that you're going to school. And I wear those as a uniform so that people know when they come into church that I am the person at the front in charge, if you like. And if they need to ask somebody a question, they know they can come and ask me because I've got my uniform on. My collar, this bit that I wear, that's the bit that is my uniform every day. So whenever I go to see anybody or visit people, it's a uniform. It tells them that I am a vicar and that they can talk to me. So yeah, it is really just about being a uniform. And then Harry King asks, what's my favourite robes? Well, I wear, as you know, a black cassock and a surplice, the white one that goes over the top. And my favourite stole is the white one. And I wear the white one when I do weddings, so that's a joyful time. At Christmas, great celebration. And at Easter, on Easter Sunday, another good celebration. So the white one is always about joy. So I do like wearing the white one. The next question that was asked was, when do I go to church? And do I go to church every day? And when do we have services at St. John's? Now, that was 3 different questions with really the same answer. So the answer is, I go to church when I have to. I don't live there. I don't go there every day. So that's the answer to that one. No, I don't go there every day. And the services at St. John's are usually on a Sunday, sometimes middle of the week, but usually on a Sunday. But during all of this pandemic, we've only had them once every 3rd week, because we've gone round I've got 3 churches and we've gone round them. So we go to Armitage Bridge one week, we go to South Crossland one week, and we go to Newsham one week, and then we go round them all again. And that way it helps to keep people safe. But when we're not in a pandemic, there's a service in St. John's every week. The next question says, what makes a church special? Well, I think a church building is really special because people have gone in there and prayed and worshipped God for hundreds of years. And all of that is still there in the building, which is wonderful to think that when you sit down, somebody 100 years ago sat down in exactly the same place and talked to God just like you. Isn't that just amazing? So that's why the buildings are special. It's where we can come and know that we're worshipping and talking to God where other people have done it too. But of course, you know, it is just a building, and we can worship and talk to God anywhere we want to. We can do it outside. We do it in the scout hut sometimes. We can do it anywhere. But the buildings are special because that's where it's been done for lots and lots and lots of years. And then the next question is from Amelia, and it says, what is the favourite part of my job? Well, that's easy, Amelia. It's meeting and helping people. And it doesn't matter how old they are. It's meeting you at school. It's meeting old people in an old people's home and everybody in between. I love to meet people and help them. And then the next question says, do I like Newsham Community? I love Newsham Community. They've always been very welcoming and friendly, and they all want to help one another, which is brilliant. So yes, I do love Newsham Community. And the next question is from Lucy, which says, why do you visit schools and people in hospital? Well, I visit schools so I can tell you all about Jesus and about being a Christian and about being a vicar, like today. And I love being with the children and learning things from you too. And I visit people in hospital because sometimes when people are not well, they just want somebody to go and hold their hand and pray and tell them that it'll be okay, that God is with them. Whatever happens, God will be with them. So I go to try and help them. See, there's a theme there, isn't it? All about helping people. The next question says, am I a school governor? The answer is yes, I am. And do I visit other schools to do assemblies or visits? I do. So I'm a school governor on lots of schools and I go to all of them. So I'm a school governor on, and I go to Bury Brow Infants, I go to Hillside, I go to South Crossland Juniors, to Castle Hill School and to the high school. So I'm a governor on all of those schools. I don't do assemblies at the high school, but I do assemblies in all the others. So yes, I am part of all the schools in our area, and that's great. And the next question says, who can come to church? Anybody can come to church. Anybody and everybody is welcome to come to church. And are there lots of children your age who come to church? Well, I'd love to say yes, but sadly there aren't, not in our churches. We would love to see more young people, more families with children. And we're thinking about new ways that we can do church so that we can encourage them to come. But at the moment, we don't have very many, which is really sad. And the next question says, how do I know what to talk about in a sermon? Well, I choose some readings from the Bible, all sorts of different readings. We choose readings from the Bible, and then I just talk about them. And I try to make them relevant for today so people can understand what it says in the Bible. And that's how I know what to talk about. The next question says, why do you light candles in church? Well, there's more than one reason. The candles on the front, on the altar, they're lit because we talk about Jesus being the light of the world, and we want that light to be a part of our service. So we light the candles to represent Jesus. But people also light candles when they want to remember loved ones who have died, or they want to think about a special time and celebrate. They want to give thanks. So candles are lit for all sorts of different reasons. Betsy then asks, do you like songs and do you sing fun songs in church like the ones we have on our online assemblies? Well, Betsy, I love to sing, and I love to sing all sorts of different hymns and songs in church, and it includes the ones that we put at the end of the videos for your assemblies. And we sing some of them sometimes too, which is brilliant because everybody enjoys them. So yes, the answer to your question is yes, I like to sing, and yes, we use the songs. So the next question says, do I pray by myself? Well, yes, I do. But I also pray with other people. So I pray by myself in my house. It's somebody else asks, how many times a day do I pray? Well, I pray on a morning when I get up, and then I pray on an evening before I go to bed. But through the day, I pray as well. So if something happens, I will pray. If I'm a bit stuck on what to say in a sermon, I'll pray and ask God to help me. If I'm going to visit somebody, I'll pray for the family I'm going to see, or afterwards pray that I've seen them and give thanks for them. So I pray all the time, really, but I sit down and pray on a morning and on an evening. The rest of the day, I just pray as I go, which is great because it means I get to talk to God all the time. Which brings me on to Jason's question, which says, how do I talk to God? Well, I just do, Jason. I pray sometimes, which is, a different way, but sometimes I literally just talk to him. If I'm a bit stuck, I might just say, "Oh God, please help me. Help me because I don't know what to do now." I just talk to him. Or I might tell him things that have happened to me in the day, or ask him to look after special people, my grandchildren, my family. I might just ask him to do that. So I just talk to him all the time. You can tell him anything. He's always there and always listening, which is brilliant. And then my next question comes from Abdullah. And Abdullah says that he's a Muslim. And he asks me if people's mobile phones go off in church while we're talking and praying. Well, I hope not, Abdullah. Just like in the mosque, I am sure that you ask people, or the people in the mosque ask everybody to turn their phones off. I ask people in church. But you know what? Sometimes they forget. And when they forget, they sometimes go off in the service. It's not great, but it happens. We just have to live with it, don't we? We just have to. But it's not the best way. And then I've got another question which says, how has the pandemic affected my work? Well, I have to say that the pandemic's affected it in a big way. I don't get to come to school and see you. I don't get to go to church and have services. I don't get to visit people because you can't do all that in this pandemic. All my services are online, like your assemblies and this talk. But I have to say, I've still helped lots of people over the telephone, by email, or by Zoom, which is the new way to do a lot of things now. And like you might be using Google Classroom sometimes. I use Zoom. And so I have still done lots of things, all the things I normally do. I've just had to find new ways to do them. And then I've been asked, am I a vegetarian? The answer is no. I love meat. And do I have to be a vegetarian to be a Christian? Well, Zane, you don't. No. There are lots of Christians who are vegetarians, but there are also lots of Christians who are not. You don't have to be a vegetarian to be a Christian. So the next question says, when do you have time to rest and see your own family? Well, I get one day off a week. That's all. And on that day off, I do try and go and see my family. My daughter Nicola, her husband James, and two of my grandchildren, Joshua and Jasmine, they live here in Huddersfield. So I can go and see them. I'm bubbled with them because I live on my own. So I've been able to see them all the way through all of this pandemic, which has been great. And so I go and see them at least once a week. Sometimes I pop round for a cup of coffee if I've got time as well. So it is really good to spend time with them. And I haven't seen the rest of my family since last March. So my son Craig and his wife Lydia and three of my grandchildren, which is Ellie Mae, Esme and Evelyn, live in Norwich, and I haven't seen them. And I haven't seen my mum and dad, and I haven't seen my brothers or anybody else, which has really been really hard. And I know that you've all been in the same boat and haven't seen lots of your family either. And it's hard, isn't it? And the last question says, what do you do in your spare time? And it says, lots of children like art. And do I like art? Well, I have to say, I love doing craft, but I don't do art. I'm no good. I can't draw anything. I can paint if I'm colouring in things, but I can't actually draw anything. So art is not great for me, but I love doing craft. I love to sew and knit and crochet, and I do all sorts of things like that. But I don't do art. And so, yeah, that's all of the questions that you've asked. That's fantastic. Lots of questions about what I do and what my day might look like. Well, as you can see, my days are never the same. But I do hope that that's helped as I've answered all of your questions. I hope it's helped you to understand a little bit more about what I do. But the thing is, I am so looking forward to being able to come into school and see you all. That won't happen for a little while yet, but at least we know now that there is a way forward. You're all back in school, and one day I'll be able to come in and see you, and that'll be fantastic. I can't wait. It'll be wonderful. And so we'll just wait for that day to happen. So I hope what I've said has helped you to understand what I do It's been great to be here to share that with you, and I'll see you again on the assembly. So bye for now. Have a great week. Bye.